All right, everyone. The lame establishment media persists in talking about impeachment, even though it's not going to happen again. It would require a significant number of hesitant Democrats to get aboard to do that, and then it would require the consent of a large number of Republicans in order for that impeachment not to backfire. Like, you don't want to attempt to impeach someone and then fail. It'll make their approval rise, because then the people that oppose them, that have been vocal critics and said, well, this person needs to go, they're the ones, they look like failures. It looks like a waste of time. Taxpayers don't like things that waste their time, generally speaking. It's all about that money. If the Democrats actually attempt, and Pelosi's sort of, well, she's trying to ride the fence because I think she doesn't want to talk about the issue too much because she knows it would blow up in the Democrats' faces. If the Cortezes and people like that get their way, and they begin impeachment proceedings, the Democrats can easily impeach Trump. It requires a simple majority in the House to actually do it. I mean, there's a possibility that even that would fail. But if you impeach them, and then the Senate says, well, what do you expect us to do? And the Republicans in general close ranks, which I think they would at that point. What are you going to accomplish by that other than wasting a bunch of money and time and looking like, you're totally ineffectual? What it would really end up doing, if they were to try to impeach, let's say they're successful and then, obviously they don't get him to resign or get removed from office. What'll end up happening is that minority of Democrats will revolt, that 20-30% that are like pink-haired people that want Trump out, they want to punch Nazis and ban all guns and crazy shit like that. They'll revolt and probably end up schisming right out of the Democratic Party immediately. They won't even wait for the election when they coronate some neoliberal. When they coronate a Gillibrand or something like that, which, by the way, is still better than the alternative, which is the sad part for the Democrats. When I'm looking at the current political landscape, like Covington is blowing up in the left's face right now. I can't wait to analyze that, because it's like great. It's a dream come true when you're on the forefront of saying, nothing actually happened here, and then everyone else who said that it was, who dogpiled opportunistically, now they're walking things back, which is code for, whoops, we made a big legal fucking mistake. It's really funny. That's blowing up in their face. I think the shutdown is going to begin harming the Democrats more than Trump. Like, they're saying, well, Trump lost like 2 points of approval. Possible polling bias, not within poll, but simply having missampled polls coincidentally released at the same time. This happened before. I already predicted it the first time around. I'm predicting that's very likely this time around. That doesn't mean, though, that the Democrats' approval has magically risen. It means that people are upset by the situation. Okay, 2% of the political population cares a great deal. What percentage of Democrats are really pissed off? There are Democratic enclaves, which Trump did well among, this is why he won in 2016, that do want the wall, that do want tax relief, that do want an industrial deregulation, and are on board with the economic side largely of his message. I think they're more likely to turn on the Democrats, and that this is actually this will be what keeps them from re-winning the Rust Belt in 2020. As far as that goes, they can gobble up, Arizona or turn North Carolina blue, and it's not going to matter if they don't get those states. That gives the Republicans an enormous electoral advantage right off the bat, where they have to get like 2 other competitive states. Again, advantage in some place like Arizona, certainly an advantage in a place like North Carolina. That gets them pretty close to 270 right there. They flip any remaining state, they're fine, and Iowa is no longer really a swing state. Ohio and Indiana aren't really swing states at this point. Don't you think that's the part of the country that's beginning to turn more and more red on economic issues? If the Democrats then throw impeachment into the mix and look, again, out of touch, which was their problem. Obama looked out of touch. He's like, well, the recovery's great. Yes, in the coasts and big cities. Not in flyover state, small-town America, and certainly not in the Rust Belt. That's what harmed you in 2016. It wasn't even the deplorable shit or anything like that, although it didn't help. It was ultimately about money. If the Democrats look out of touch, out of lockstep with both, the left within their own party and the center left, sort of blue dog Democrats, or the business Dems, as you might term them, the Reagan Democrats, they're going to lose in 2020. Trump will coast a re-election. He might get a higher electoral threshold than before, probably wins the popular vote, because the Democrats are unlikely to field a proper candidate. I'm looking at the field. It's beginning to fill in. You don't have a lot there. You don't have a lot of viability. I don't think that most of the people that have expressed interest or thrown their hats in the ring can win at all, and then they have to weigh in on the impeachment issue. It's going to be interesting because here's the thing: if you're a Democrat, everyone in your party is pissed off at Trump, including some of those business Dems at this point because of stalling out on the wall and other things. Which do you say? Do you tell your constituents, yeah, I support impeachment, and then it fails, and then you get egg on your face? That's not good for your presidential bid chances, because then you look like a failure. Looking weak is not the way to win the presidency. Or do you say, no, I don't believe at this time we can impeach, and then you have that howling, screeching mob of 20-30% of your party, which is extremely far left, believes actually that Donald Trump is a fascist in the most literal sense, that demand your resignation now too, and will jump down your throat at every possible juncture because you're not towing a socialistic line? Which one do you want to do? Do you want to face the lynch mob from within your own party? Or do you want to alienate a bunch of business Democrats when you almost inevitably lose? It's a no-win situation. It's becoming a problem for them. Meanwhile, Trump, he just has to continue the shutdown. It's not unlawful for him to do that. He's like, well, come negotiate any time now. Yeah, and he'll be waiting for 1,000 years, I think. It looks like Pelosi really is crazy enough to dig in and let the government stay shut down indefinitely, allowing Trump, by the way, I believe, to fire large numbers of people at his own sole discretion when that happens. When it goes beyond a certain threshold, a lot of people, they just get cut. Those positions won't be filled at all, and there won't be any owing back pay to these people because they won't have a job. That's not going to be a greatly popular decision, but I stand by Trump's concept because opening the government simply requires funding his wall. He's even extended an olive branch to the Democrats in the form of a 3-year DACA continuation. That is handing to them a technical victory on that token that they're not willing to accept, because the secret is this: they're not willing to negotiate. They're not willing to fund a penny of wall construction. And so he knows that, so he's going to eventually shift things around. The burden will be on them. They will start to crumble. They'll eventually start attacking one another even more than they already are. And as far as impeachment goes, it's not going to happen. Trump, at the moment, is not impeachable. He has done nothing provably impeachable to begin with. The will of the people is not behind it, number 2. It's just not going to happen. That's about all. Peace out.